Hello everyone, Carla here again from Documenting the Journey. I am going to be doing a sped up time lapse type thing of my planning for the week of January 23rd. I always start out with my MakseLife weekly actions. I kind of do my stuff a little bit backwards in the fact that I do my weekly actions and then I do my reflections. The intent is to do your reflections first, so that way you can alter your weekly actions. But my brain it doesn't work that way. So I always determine what I want to work on, and then if I do my reflections and something else comes up, then I will add that with my weekly actions. And then my weekly actions I have to bring over into my planner, because basically my weekly actions are going to be tasks in addition to habits that I want to nurture that week. And so here I am basically just using the MakseLife mild liners, even though they're not mild liners, but the MakseLife markers, I think is what they're called. And I'm just kind of creating some check sheets. I'm doing some intentions or focuses for each category, and I'm using the stencil in order to do that. I'm basically just putting some focuses of the areas that I want to kind of create my habits around. So for example, finances will be going back to a no spend. I did purchase the Sterling Ink 520 page bullet journal or notebook that she released in a B6 with the gilded edges. I did purchase that in addition to the clear cover. I justified that as it being a reward for a very large goal that I had already completed during this calendar year. And so I did not feel very guilty about spending money on that at all. Overall, I've actually done really well, and I've just kind of shopped my stash. I over-purchased last year, as I always do every year with my planners, because I just love all of the things, and I love certain things about certain products and brands, and I always try to make things work, and I always end up going back to a bullet journal. So I did justify that as far as me just knowing that I am going to be happier in a bullet journal than I will be in rings or even in the common planner itself. And so I'm just going to create my action items for the week. I am focusing a lot on connections with families and friends. I'm focusing a lot on paying down some debt that we have accumulated over the past couple of years. And so I'm basically going off of my main targeted goal areas in order to create my weekly actions. I am going to do a video, hopefully at the beginning of February, to kind of update everybody on my 12-week year goal setting. It is a lot harder than I had intended, but I do think that I am actually getting some of my big milestone goals taken care of. And I did put in my priority list of when I created my 12-week year of what is low priority versus high priority. So I might not have gotten all of my content done for my YouTube channel or my Instagram page that I have wanted to do, but that is extremely low priority in comparison to, say, my health, my mental status, and my finances. And so I will go ahead and make sure that I update everybody when it hits about 30 days on how that is going as well. I am now doing my reflections, and I am using my common planner notes pages where I create my daily lists. Basically, within my daily lists, I also make sure that I add in all of my gratitude for the day, any notes such as my animals getting sick or my kids getting sick or any mail that I've gotten, good conversations that I've had, good connections that I've had, and I'm going through and I'm doing all of my reflections based off of my weekly tasks and gratitude. So there are prompts on the top of the page. It says reflect on wins, what worked, what didn't work, lessons learned, and adjustments needed. Basically, all I did was the wins in addition to my adjustments. So my biggest wins were that I did a lot of connection with some friends and family. I got a lot of cleaning done over the weekend because our week was just really busy. We decided to do a little mini vacation for a wrestling tournament instead of dividing and conquering. And I finished a book. My adjustments were that I need to better meal plan. We're really busy during the week, and I'm really struggling with just kind of keeping up with a plan that works, that doesn't involve, us having to switch at the last minute, which I don't really deal very well with. However, we did not eat out, which was good. And another adjustment that I have was I needed to watch less Netflix and read more. I did find a show on Netflix I really enjoy. It's called New Amsterdam. And I'm the type of person where if I start something, really only with like TV, because I don't ever do this with major big projects. But if I start a season, I kind of have to just finish that season. But I really do enjoy that show. However, I need to focus on reading a little bit more. And so with my reflections and my weekly actions done, I kind of just keep it open and I plan out my week in my Sterling ink. Right now I am still using the Common Planner. I am hoping very soon to be able to switch over to the 520-page bullet journal. I really love planners, and I think what I have found is I really enjoy setting them up. And once they're set up, I have a tendency to want to switch again. And so I think that that's the reason that a bullet journal just in general works well for me, is because I have the opportunity to set up a new week every single week. So I am really just kind of doing some basic layout stuff here, trying to figure out which way I want my days to go, because last week I planned on my wrong days. So fun fact about that is the third time I have done that this calendar year. The first time was in my rings. The second time was in my Common Planner, and the third time was in my Common Planner. I don't understand, y'all. Anyway, so going back to setup. So last year I was in a bullet journal, the A5 Zequins, and I loved it. It was the only book that I had. I didn't even stray. I didn't feel like I needed to have anything else. I didn't feel that I really even, like when I looked at something else, I didn't even really feel that I had a desire to even change books. And so I'm hoping to get to that point again. The paper in the Common Planner is not quite as white as the Zequins. However, the Zequins had a huge downfall in the fact that it was so very, very, very well loved. The pages fell out. I think it was just due to the binding, because it is marketed to be a 360-degree journal, so you can fold it back on itself, and I definitely did that often, especially when I was out and about and I had to add something at the last minute, or if I was in my car waiting for the kids and I had to meal plan because I had all my menus in there as well. I would just kind of last minute roll it on itself and just start jotting things down. And I think that that's the reason that the pages fell out, is because it was just a glued binding and it wasn't a sewn binding. So needless to say, the planner chaos started soon after that, because it was really hard for me to find a very large paged notebook, because I really, really, really want the entire year in one book, so I don't have to shelve 3 to 4 books for an entire year. That is part of the reason that I also left the MakseLife Daily, is because you needed 4 of them to fill a whole year. The Plum Paper Daily, you can buy it in a year format, but you can't really realistically carry it around, in my opinion, because it weighs like 1 billion pounds. So the Tomo River paper is perfect because it's lightweight, it's thin, you can maximize the number of pages per journal. The Stalogy paper is really nice, but the grid was too light for me to be planning at night. Honestly, this grid is really light for me to plan at night too, but that's okay. So I'm just going to go ahead and finish up this plan with me by finishing out my habits for the week based off of my weekly actions. And then I'm going to go through really briefly and kind of time block my week. I'm honestly living in these daily bullet journal pages, and I'm not really referencing my time blocking very often. So I'm kind of using that as a little bit of a memory keeper, and then just making sure that I remember my appointments and obligations that I have as well. And so I'm just going to time block out those work days in addition to our after school activities. And then I will check my daily pages to make sure that I've got everything written down. And then I will finish this plan with me up. I really appreciate everybody hanging out with me and listening to me chat for a whopping 11 minutes, which who knew I could even do that? But I always love chatting planner things. And like I've said before, I often come here to kind of verbalize my struggles with planning and be able to get a lot of people's feedback as well. So thank you for being my sounding board. I appreciate all of you. I'll talk to you later. Bye.